Nice job.
Look at all that money, yeah, the money that they've spent. Take another look and take some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper, 'cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for hemp. Well, an acre of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Well, it's time for hemp.
Yes, it is. It is time for hemp. Thank you for tuning in to the big broadcast today. Please share us with your friends. I want to thank you for tuning in to Citizen Green TV. They are helping us raise our voice to a louder, feverish pitch to let the whole world know how important it is to take time for hemp. This is part 2 of a great interview. And if you haven't had a chance to see part 1, please go to timeforhemp.news. You can find it in the archives. And you can find lots of free music downloads and lots of great blogs and all kinds of groovy videos that you might want to share with your friends. And speaking of sharing with friends, one of the friends that I enjoy sharing my time for hemp moments with is Al Byrne. He's down in Florida, and he's letting the whole world know that the Sunshine State truly does believe in medical cannabis. Ain't that right, Al Byrne?
Yeah, we have a medical cannabis bill in Florida. It's been here for a few years. I'd like to say that because I wrote my book, the governor decided it was a good idea, but I don't think it had anything to do with it. But it's very popular here. There's been no ramifications negative, the use of cannabis by anybody in the state for years. There are dispensaries all over the place. I live in a very little village. Really, it's a fishing village on the Gulf, and we actually have 3 shops that sell cannabis products. And so when we're done with this interview, I'm going to go around and see if they stock our guests' products, because I'm already impressed as hell, and we're going to find out more about it. But before we do that, we have to bring in our token Canadian, one of my joint hosts, Al Graham.
Hi guys, how you doing?
Groovy, and are you up there token Al Graham?
We're doing good. We're doing good. We're getting rain. The grass is growing. We're cutting the lawn again. And other than that, things are doing really well.
Well, groovy. And why don't you introduce our groovy guest on the big joint broadcast today?
All right. I'd like to welcome back Colonel Philip Blair. He's an MD. He's also a combat physician. He's managed chronic or complex diseases, and he's created this product called BC Plus. And instead of me explaining to him, we're going to bring him on the show, and we're going to find out all the details about it. Welcome to the broadcast, Colonel Phillips.
Well, I thank you so much. I appreciate it. This is a great honor to be with you.
Well, I don't know about honor, Colonel. I don't know with these guys, but why don't we get, we've talked in the first half hour. You've been very, very, wow, we've all learned. We think we know stuff, but we also know we don't know stuff, and you've filled in a lot of holes. But let's go right away to your product. You've said, and go over it a little bit, but you spent quite a background in before you started developing this product. So how'd that go? And what got you to take that giant step?
Well, I didn't know anything about cannabis. Was all inclined to the derogatory nature. I never even experimented with with cannabis at all until 2014, and when I was introduced to it as a possible product that is going to change the way that we perceive our environment, I was intrigued. And so I was skeptical, and I explored the literature very, very carefully. And I had 1,000 questions for the representative who was introducing to me. After
Colonel, I know that you went to West Point, military background, starch upbringing, very straight. Did you have an attitude that people who smoked marijuana were a problem child, that they had a crutch, that they were some kind of hippie or whatever? I mean, did you have a negative connotation of people who used cannabis?
Well, I did, because I was active during the 1970s when there was a drug explosion that was going on within the military, and it was very derogatory, and people were running into major problems with it. So I grew up under that in climate, and I realized that it was very negative aspects to it. And I wasn't involved. I was involved with the military all these years. And so I didn't have any exposure to what people were doing actually physically in the sense of what they were exploring. And, you know, during the 70s, when the hippie time was going on, I was steeped in a military background. I didn't have any hippie exposure at all. So I wasn't smoking. I wasn't using the products. And I had generally had a sort of derogatory sense about it because it was associated with other drugs. So I had to leave that behind. And it wasn't until 2014 when I was introduced to the science and the benefits of cannabidiol that I realized that I had been misled all these years.
Wow. So okay, now it's 2014. That's 11 years ago. What happened? What did you do? All of a sudden you're excited. What happened?
Well, I learned about the endocannabinoid system. I learned all the ways that this the cannabinoids could help that system. And I learned about the mechanisms and the targeting. And I also had a chance to sample many patients with it. And I cannot tell you how many people that I sampled with CBD, and it turned their life around within minutes of using the product. And I saw this wholesome response and beneficial response, anti-anxiety, anti-dementia, calming sensation, and pain relief. That it was exciting to see this kind of benefit, that I had to devote myself to it. And I saw that this was the direction forward, and the way that and I was leaving behind the pharmaceutical industry way behind, because it was not providing these kinds of benefits. So, you know, I was really deeply involved with it, and I saw all the benefits that were coming from it, and I could not put it down. I was deeply engaged in all measure of research and defining how CBD could be used. But in that process, I learned about another cannabinoid substance that was found in hemp, but it was also found in 1,000 other plants, and that was beta-caryophyllene. Beta-caryophyllene is essential oil that is found in hemp, and there's as much as a terpene, and as much as 36% of the terpenoids that are in cannabis are actually beta-caryophyllene. And so it had a high percentage. And in fact, as I looked at different studies, I found that when CBD and cannabis was combined with beta-caryophyllene, we were getting magnificent results. And I've got study after study that shows the benefits of terpenes plus cannabis in terms of relieving major trauma, ischemia, or lack of blood supply, strokes, and cancer, all across the board. So I realized that this had huge potential, but then I managed to get it separated from the cannabis and get it from another source, so that I could introduce it to many people who cannot use cannabis. So it comes from cloves and black pepper and hops, and I had it extracted from those substances and put into an independent product that offers, and I've learned this from experience, is it offers almost all the benefits of cannabis, but it doesn't have any derogatory substance in it that could test out as a positive urine analysis. So it's available to military, police, first responders, to medical personnel, to aviation people, to certified licensed people. Anybody who can use it, who's restricted, could use this product and get great benefits from it.
Well, I got to jump in here. It sounds to me like you took chocolate and took the taste out. You took beer and took the buzz out. You took cannabis and took the high out. You ruined it. Why did you
screwed it all up? Yeah.
what benefit is there now of this? If I'm not going to get high, what's going to happen if I jeepers? I mean, whoa. Tell me what's going to drive me to this?
Well, so what happens with cannabis is that it works on the target. Much of the literature is on the CB1 receptor. Now, there's actually two types of CB1 receptors. There's a CB1 receptor in the brain, very specifically, and it is a different isoform than the CB1 receptor in the liver. And the one in the brain makes you high, and whereas the one in the liver causes inflammation in the liver. So you don't want the CB1 receptor in the liver activated, because that can lead to obesity and other types of inflammatory signals. But in the brain, it can mitigate against Alzheimer's disease and dementia. So cannabis is generally targeted and talked about for the THC effect on the CB1 receptors. Well, now this is the opposite. This is caryophyllene, BCP, works on the CB2 receptor. And the CB2 receptor has no psychotropic activity. It does not cause any high at all. And in fact, it can mitigate against a high effect very specifically. And
that's what I was going to lead to next, is that we had somebody on a couple of weeks ago that said if you're using cannabis oil, when you smoke cannabis, you won't get a buzz. It's like, I can't decide, do I take cannabis oil to live longer or do I get high?
Well, there's different combinations that work for different people. And I don't know exactly what your need is, but there's two receptor systems, and they work in tandem, and they can benefit each other. So the THC works on CB1 receptors and CB2 receptors. Now the BCP product works strictly on the CB2 receptors, so there's no associated high with it, but it actually mitigates against behavioral abnormalities such as anxiety, depression, PTSD, and I believe it's going to work for bipolar and schizophrenia, as well as suicide ideations.
Well, and you said that this can help with blood supply. If somebody's got problems with their circulation, would this be a benefit to them?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, it actually increases the amount of nitric oxide that we produce in a beneficial way. So it dilates the blood vessels, and it actually dilates the blood vessels in the
so what studies have you done to help verify some of these claims?
Well, unfortunately, there are only 15 clinical human studies on the product, but there are about 3,500 preclinical studies that have been done on beta-caryophyllene. So what I've been using it over the last 4 years, I've been using it in thousands of people, and I've seen these particular benefits firsthand. One of the particular ones that I notice very, very specifically is the relief of anxiety and depression immediately after taking a dose of this product. Now, the product is a highly bioavailable substance that I put into a small molecule format and wrapped it with a membrane that makes it water soluble, as well as wholly bioavailable into the mucous membranes. And that's what delivers it in the mucous membranes immediately within 10 minutes after dosing.
Wow.
So, Colonel, two questions. Do you use your own product?
Yes.
Okay. And then I want to use your product. How do I administer it to myself?
Well, there's different formats, but the main one is the liposomal format. So the liposomes are molecules that are water soluble. They're in a phosphatidylcholine, a membrane that is highly bioavailable. It gets absorbed really well, but it isolates the molecule, the beta-caryophyllene, into the molecule, so it allows it to be water soluble and bioavailable to the mucous membrane, so it gets absorbed into the bloodstream immediately. So that's a liposomal product. So if you were taking the liposomal product, I'd want you to take a half to a full milliliter, and probably for you, I'd want you to take a 1 milliliter, hold it in your mouth for 1 minute and swish it, and then swallow it. And then you can, but before you do that, I want you to test do a survey of your symptomatology that you're having. Whatever those symptoms are, just go run down them, whether it's aches and pains, if it's anxiety, whether it's stress, or if it's sleep disorders, or there's muscle tension, or there's contractile joint, any of those things, then I want you to do a self-assessment beforehand and then a self-assessment afterwards after 10 minutes. And you should see a significant change in the benefit level.
Now, does that change only in your mental thinking or your emotional stability? Or is that a 10-minute change? You notice it physically too?
Oh, yes, it's physical. So one of the magnificent benefits of it is pain relief and mobility. So typically I've been using it particularly in Parkinson's patients, and it's showing magnificent benefits in terms of mobilization. Now, typically they have a very rigid facial appearance. They have very tight muscles and they cannot move very effectively. And this loosens them up. They get about a 20% increase in range of motion with it. So they can be highly flexible. It's also topically, it relieves pain, burning, inflammation, bites, burns, stings, just from a topical application of the product.
So the same product can be used to either swish it in your mouth and swallow, or rub it on your body and make you feel good?
Yes, you can. But I also offer a topical product. It's in a gel format. And the gel format enhances the bioavailability through the skin, but it also has other magnificent properties. One of the magnificent properties that I've seen with it is relief of amputation type of pain, phantom limb pain. It's been marvelous for. And I've got a number of cases. I've got 2 cases that they're absolutely devoted to using the product now.
Phantom pain's a big deal for vets. I got a question. So I put your product in my mouth and I hold it for a minute. Now, I'm assuming my oral mucosal area is absorbing this product. It's into my bloodstream, right? All right, so I get it in my bloodstream, but now that blood's going to take it to my liver. And is that going to change the chemicals? What happens when it hits my liver?
Well, it's going to hit your liver after it circulates in the body. So you're going to get the benefits right away, and it's going to go to the brain right away. So you're going to get brain circulation. And then as it processes through the body, it's going to go through the liver and to get metabolized. Now, in metabolism of beta-caryophyllene is actually to another beneficial product called beta-caryophyllene oxide. And that has enormous benefits too. It has a strong anti-cancer effects, but it also has strong other benefits, not specifically as a BCP product, but it is highly effective for other things. And then that's
it can also help with phantom
and urinated out.
You said it can help with phantom pain. I've got a close friend who's like me, 100 years old, and she's had a leg amputated, and about every 20 minutes or so, she feels this horrific phantom pain.
Well, I've had 2 cases that have responded very, very well to it. I'd love to get another case involved and get her exposed to it as well. I don't know. I'm exploring all these benefits because they've not been seen before. I've addressed many different types of problems that have not been effectively treated. For instance, mast cell activation phenomena. It's a mast cell reaction that occurs in a large number of women who have they have problems with their immune cell called a mast cell. And that mast cell reacts with allergy phenomena and pain and discomfort. And what beta-caryophyllene has done has blocked that particular pathway so that it relieves those symptoms almost immediately. In fact, it's been effective in blocking anaphylaxis in several cases.
So what? Wow. So problems with pollen and things like that affect people. Would this have a positive effect on their reaction?
Yes, but I can't say that it's going to stop your allergies, but it can mitigate against a lot of nasal stuffiness and a lot of other allergic phenomena that goes on. I would definitely take it if you were having problems with allergies. Give it a try, and I actually put the product on my nose when I get nasal congestion or allergic phenomena, and I can temper the allergy very effectively with it.
Well, you know that there comes a time in your path in life where you're just too old to mess with. People just figure put you into a euthanasia program. So, like, am I too old? I'm like 100. Am I too old to get any benefit from this? Like, if I had like swollen ankles or thin blood vein, my blood veins were shrinking, or if I was having Alzheimer's or what, is this going to benefit some old timer like me, or do I need to start taking it when I'm young?
Very, very clearly, it's going to benefit you. And anybody who's in the older age group. It has magnificent benefit. In fact, I'm working with a 94-year-old veteran who was in hospice because of dementia. And during that time, he was disabled. They expected him to die within 6 months, but he got started on beta-caryophyllene, and he's almost completely recovered. He's now driving independently. He's giving interviews to veteran societies as well. So he's fully engaged completely. And he's talking about his past, his helicopter past, and his adventures in Florida.
Wow.
So he's changed entirely. And I've had other people with dementia actually reverse their dementia with using it. Plus Parkinson's disease. I've had enormous results from people correcting for many of the symptoms of Parkinson's. And what I want to say about Parkinson's is that there is preclinical science that shows that beta-caryophyllene could stop the progression of Parkinson's in its tracks.
Wow. So it's good for us old guys. How young can we, if I have a child, a young child, is this product of yours safe for a 10-year-old?
It's safe for everybody. It's a food product primarily. It comes from hops. It's found in guava and grapefruit and oranges. It's found in basil, black pepper. It's all over the place. In fact, I have one slide that describes it as a Mediterranean diet. It's probably the substance that is giving the most benefit from the Mediterranean diet because of all the food that contain beta-caryophyllene.
All right, now I got a couple questions here. One, if I take it, will I test positive for THC? And two, should I have my doctor be aware of what I'm taking? Is this going to have any effect on any medications I might taking? Is this going to be something my doctor needs to be aware of? Should my doctor have to prescribe this?
It's non-toxic. There's no drug interactions that I'm aware of. There's no addictive component to it at all. You can take it with any other substance, and there's no problems with it. As I said, it's a food product that's been improved in its bioavailability so that you can get more in and get it effectively distributed in the body. Now, for children, there's no reason why a child cannot take this. I've got a 5-year-old who's taking this product regularly for his attention deficit and his autism. And when he gets out of control, he will walk over to his mom and ask her for a dropper of brain food because it settles him down and he's able to do his work and interact with his siblings as well.
All right. Now, I know in the past, Byrne has asked about how is this made? There's a certain way it's made, and who does the testing, and how do we know that there's not chocolate syrup in there and sugar when we buy it?
Well, it's made from cloves. One product is made from cloves that's extracted, and I can't say that it is organic, but it's made from cloves, and it's put into a mixture of a phosphatidylcholine, which is a common carrier and interface for the liposomal format. It's energized with high vibration to collect up the molecules and to put it into a thick liquid that is easily bioavailable from the body, and it stays suspended indefinitely. So you take about half to a full milliliter once or twice a day, and you get the full benefits. And typically the benefits last for about 12 hours. Now it's tested, it's get regularly tested. We get certificates of availability on the substance. And we also offer a capsular product that is from a powdered BCP, but we're using hops oil for that. And we're turning that into a powder, and that is mixed with the purest of chemicals. And we're also producing that into the capsules, and those are offering similar benefits. But these capsules are combined with other phytocannabinoids that can benefit the body as well.
And since it is a food product, does it have to be used like within a month or two? Does it have a long expiration date?
You know, it's a very stable molecule, and we've tested it out at 2 years, and it's been highly effective and maintained its concentrations entirely. So there's no impairment of its performance at all.
Couple of things.
Can I just get a question in, because we're almost out of time?
Yeah, go, Al, go.
All right. You've talked about how this treats people with mental health issues, so on and so forth. Is there any advantage to people with autoimmune conditions?
Oh, yes. Yeah, because it works on the CB2 receptor. And the CB2 receptor is located everywhere in the body, as Al earlier said, but it actually has, it's located on the immune cells of the body, and it's located on neurons as well. So it's located on neurons, and it's located on the immune cells. And on the immune cells, it acts to reduce inflammation, and it switches them over from an active phase of inflammation over to an inactive phase of resolution. So it doesn't turn them off. It doesn't look like a steroid for blocking immunity. It actually turns it off into a monitoring and regulatory fashion. So it's been highly effective in all your inflammatory cytokines, like the TNF alpha, the IL-6, IL-1 beta. These are all inflammatory molecules, but it actually stimulates the production of anti-inflammatory cytokines like IL-10. And you may not know about these particular things, but these enormous benefits in these areas, particularly for autoimmune conditions like MS as well.
Wow.
We are down to go. I can't believe this half hour's gone quick.
I know. We need more time.
I know. I have one more question, and then we'll wrap it up. It's not covered for senior citizens on their insurance. So do you offer a senior citizen discount? Is this a cost prohibitive medication? Is it affordable? What?
Well, we're asking $75 for a bottle of that gives you 60 milliliters, and that 60 milliliters may last you 1 to 2 months. If you're using half a milliliter twice a day, then that's going to last you 2 months. Or if you're using just 1 milliliter a day, then that's 2 months worth. So it can be highly effective. But I don't want people to stay rigid on the schedule. Now, you can take more of it or you can take less of it depending on what your needs are. I always try to match the performance with the dosage. So I tell people, optimize your performance. And the other thing that I can see that it's very effective for is vision. It has a visual enhancement properties to it that can reverse macular degeneration, I believe.
Wow.
My mother had that, so yeah.
We got 1 minute, Dr. Colonel. Sleep?
Yes, it has magnificent for sleep as well, because it seems to relax the body, put a calming state into the body so that you sleep deeper with more intensity, and you get longer sleep. But it can interfere with your going to sleep because brain activates. So you can get really engaged in thoughts and patterns and exploring different topics with your mind. But if you hold off for a couple hours, you should be able to go to sleep and sleep in a very, very deep way.
Well, give a shout out to your website.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my website is blairmedicalgroup.com. You're welcome to explore that. I've got a number of white papers that I've written. I've got links to different topics, and I've got a discount of 20% for your first order.
Well, it has been a real honor, Colonel, to have you as a guest in the show. I'd love to have you come back in our future and help educate our audience a little bit more about this fantastic thing called the endocannabinoid system. And I want to thank you, Al Byrne, for introducing us to the endocannabinoid system here on the big broadcast a few years back with Dr. Meshulam when we did a global hemp summit in 2013. And I want to thank you, Al Byrne, for writing this beautiful book. And I want to thank you, Al Graham, for raising the voice up in Canada on PACE Network and letting everybody know how important it is to take time for hemp.
Thanks, Colonel. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thanks, guys.
You bet.
Look at all that money, yeah, the money that they've spent, Take another look and take some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper, 'cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for hemp. Well, an acre of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Well, it's time for hemp. Throughout us history, hemp has been used, no mystery. Hemp was legal to pay your taxes for more than a century. Check your faxes. The founding fathers make sense to me. It's time to grow hemp legally. Think of all its uses. It's money that's well spent right now. No excuses, it's time for hemp. Sustainable green industry, that's our intent. A better place this world will be. It's time for hemp. Fueling food and clothes and soap. Housing cars, yeah, cars, no joke. Henry Ford built a car of hemp. It's time for us to do it again. People be employed with balanced farming as it's meant right now. It's time for hemp. Hemp is a true necessity for the wealth and protection of this country. Thomas Jefferson spoke those words. He knew the value of these herbs. It's time to lift the hemp band. It's time to make a strong stand. Yes, we can. I know we can. We can make a difference. Yes, we can. Just like birds of a feather. Yeah, the money that they spend. Take another look and take some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper, 'cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah.